Hello and welcome to the February 17th, 2010 video version of Invested Central's Chart of the Day. I'm Tom Bowley, Invested Central's Chief Market Strategist, and it's my pleasure to provide you with today's Chart of the Day. This Chart of the Day is brought to you by stochasticks.com, simply the web's best financial charts. Today we are featuring another potential short. This is Gammon Gold, ticker symbol GRS. This is a $1.4 billion basic materials company that engages in the acquisition, exploration, mining, and development of gold and silver deposits in Mexico. Over the last few days, we've been seeing a pretty nice increase in some of these basic material stocks, primarily because of a weakness in the US dollar. But the dollar is still in a uptrend over the intermediate term, short to intermediate term. And as a result, we would expect that the odds are greater that we're going to see another bounce in the dollar, and with that we would expect some weakness in basic material stocks. Now when I look at this stock in particular, GRS, there's a couple things that bother me, and certainly sets up the stock for a possible short in the near term with fairly low risk to reward situation scenario. If you take a look on the last move to the downside before the most current weakness, you can see that this first move down here where we tested the 50-day was down at about the 1030 to 1040 area. Then we went back up. We actually put in a double top and then came back down and failed to hold this 1030 to 1040 area, going all the way down to our 200-day moving average before putting in this bullish engulfing candlestick as a reversing candlestick and then moving higher for several days. Now take a look at this candlestick right here. This is a shooting star doji. These are reversing type candlesticks off of uptrends. So that's number one negative. Number two negative, after breaking below the 50-day moving average here in January, you can see increasing volume accompanied that move. On the way back up, notice the volume has been coming out of the stock as we get up to this resistance area. So that's a second reason that I think we need to be cautious. Thirdly, you can see the MACD, which is turned up and looks much more bullish in the near term. We've actually got a short-term positive divergence that occurs when this thick black line, which is the MACD, is beneath its 9-day moving average, which is the thinner blue line. So as long as you're below, then you've got downside momentum. But when you make this cross, this is referred to as a short-term positive divergence. So at least in the near term, the MACD has been showing some strength, but we're still well below the center line, but heading towards a possible center line test. And this will likely continue to move up and maybe even start to curl over if, in fact, this shooting star doji marks a top in the near term. So as we get closer and closer to the center line, then the risks are greater that the stock and that this MACD are going to turn around and start to head lower again. Also, off of this recent uptrend, take a look at stochastics. Stochastics now at 92. Just a couple weeks ago, they were very oversold, single digits. That told us that things were just a little bit too stretched to the downside. Now we've got the exact opposite in play. We're now a little bit too stretched to the upside. And then finally, in a downtrend, if in fact we are in one on GRS, many times you will see the RSI hit the 50 level and reverse down, occasionally make its way up to 60 before reversing down. RSI right now sitting at 54. So all of these things suggest to me that GRS could be putting in a short-term top. If you're wrong and the stock moves back up, or if we're wrong and the stock moves up, takes out, say, $10.50, $10.60 to the upside, that would be our stop. So if you get a close above the 50-day moving average, we wouldn't take any chances, especially if the volume picks up. To the downside, we think it's got a shot to run back down into the 8s, maybe as low as 865 to 875. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation today. Be sure to check out our chart of the day every day at investedcentral.com. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly Market Pulse newsletter and have the chart of the day emailed directly to you. Happy trading.